Good afternoon, everyone. This is the February 16th, 2023 Zoning Board of Adjustment regular meeting. My name is Matt Perry, and I'm chair of this board. I will now call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to call the roll so that we may verify the presence of quorum.
Board Member Softly will be absent this evening. Board Member Finlayson.
Aye.
Hutchins.
Aye.
Johannesson.
Aye.
Perry.
Here.
Smikatova. Here. Wang.
Here.
We have 6 members present.
Thank you, and that makes quorum. With that, we'll proceed to our agenda, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's legislative information management system available at LIMS, lims.minneapolismn.gov. Is there a motion to approve this agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Against indicate by saying nay. That motion passes and the agenda is approved. I believe all the board members have seen a copy of the minutes from the February 2nd, 2023 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All against indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? If you were not here at the last meeting, you should abstain. Okay, we have one abstention. And that motion passes. The minutes from the Zoning Board of Adjustments February 2nd, 2023 meeting are approved. Mr. Ellis, are there any petitions or communications?
Chair Perry, members of the board, I have one communication today, well, two technically. I had announced at an earlier hearing that we had appeals on two issues, 1811 University, the fence, and 3501/3515 Zenith Avenue, the pickleball court in a required front yard. The 1811 University withdrew their application, withdrew their appeal, so that was never heard by the BIZ committee. And the 3501/3015, the appeal was granted at committee. The findings on that were primarily for finding one were the shape of the lot, and due to the nature, and then the Bakken Museum being a museum versus a residential property, so the way the line was drawn. And then for some of the other findings, finding 2 was kind of more about the fact that the spirit and intent of the ordinance is sort of orderly development, but what they were trying to do was keep it as far away from residential as possible. So in the location in which it was, the location in which the pickleball court was built was about as far away as you could get from other residential properties. Was kind of the main 2 hooks for that at the committee. So.
Okay, thanks for those updates.
I did. Okay.
So just to be clear, so the fact that the other property, the other application didn't appeal, they don't have an opportunity anymore. The clock has run out for that. Is that correct?
Correct. By withdrawing the appeal, they finished all other issues, and we'll have to come into compliance.
Okay, sure.
I did think about one other thing. Also at the last BIZ committee, the new members, like the 3 reappointments, or the 3 appointments and the reappointment all went through the BIZ committee as well. But due to the signature, I've asked for an early signature requirement, so we should be good on the March 2nd for our new members. And I'm working on trying to arrange times for a group of people. Chair Perry, we may end up having to do 2 or something, 2 orientations, depending on how, if I can get everyone together. Sure. So I hope not, but we'll see how we go. So it can be difficult to arrange everyone's schedules. So.
Yes, in terms of arranging orientation, I'm pretty flexible for afternoons. So, and especially since it's by teams, I think you talked about doing it by teams.
Yes.
So I have more flexibility because of that.
Yeah, we figured it'd be easier to do that versus, back in the before times, if you will, pre-COVID, when we would always hold them in the Public Service Center. So.
Yeah, great. Okay, any questions for Mr. Ellis about that appeal, for example? I see none. Thanks very much for those updates. Let's review the agenda. I will read the agenda number and address of the project and state whether it's slated for consent, continuance, withdrawal, return, or discussion. I'll talk about consent items. These items will be passed without discussion by the board. We will be adhering to the staff recommendation found on your agenda under the items recommended motion section. And importantly, any applicable conditions will be listed in the same section. If you agree with this recommendation, including any applicable conditions, you need to do nothing, and the board will pass it as recommended. After the item is passed on consent, you're free to leave the chambers. Please check in with a staff member assigned to that item if you have questions following the decision. If you disagree with the recommendation, please indicate you'd like to speak against the item when I ask, and we'll put it on the discussion agenda. So let's look at the recommended dispositions of our two land use requests. Agenda item number 5 is 1719 49th Street East. Staff is recommending this item for consent. Is there anyone to speak against this item? And I should note that board members can also pull items if they would like. I see no one. Agenda item number 6 is 5412 Bryant Avenue South. Staff is recommending this item for consent. Is there anyone to speak against this item? I see no one. So let's move on to reviewing our items on the agenda for consent. They're items 5 and 6. Is there a motion to adopt these items on consent?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Any against indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? That motion passes. So if you are here for items number 5 or 6, your land use requests are approved. Good luck with your projects. And thanks for coming down if you were here for those, one of those two. Great. Okay. Let's move on to new business. Does staff have any new business? No. All right, the board has new business, which is a resolution of appreciation for Mr. Finlayson, whose meeting is tonight, last meeting is tonight. And so with that, I'd like to begin it with whereas the Minneapolis Zoning Board of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial citizen review panel that provides direction and regulation on zoning business within the city of Minneapolis. And whereas John has served on the board since August 1999, that's over 23 years, and has participated in over 1,000 public hearings and acted on countless board items. And whereas John was elected by his peers to serve as the chair of the board, as well as led the updating of the bylaws so they met the needs of the board, staff, and the public. And whereas John's ability to intently listen to public testimony allowed him to fairly balance the interests of applicants' projects, the spirit and intent of the city ordinance, and the concerns of the greater community. And whereas whereas the board wishes to formally recognize John's dedicated service to the Minneapolis Zoning Board of Adjustment and City, now therefore be resolved by the Minneapolis Zoning Board of Adjustment and staff to the Minneapolis Zoning Board of Adjustment of the City of Minneapolis, that we extend to him our very best wishes for good health and happiness in all of life's endeavors, trusting that the friendships and understanding built in our mutual undertakings will be with us always. So that's the actual resolution of appreciation. I'd like to just take a couple of minutes and say that John was chair when I came on the board back in 2005 and interviewed me. And his one question that I remember distinctly was, "Are you going to show up?" And I said yes. And that was good enough for John. But something that people don't know about John that really, I think, made a difference for me is that I've served on boards and commissions for the city of Minneapolis, a number of them, and no board operates as efficiently and with such decorum as this. And that is due entirely to John. When he became chair, he changed the way the meetings ran and the decorum, and was the architect behind that. So John, I want to thank you for doing that. It's made a huge difference. And lastly, I'd like to say it was a great honor working with you. and I am sure our friendship will endure.
Thank you all. It's been a ride, and as far as the decorum goes, I remember when I got on, I was basically just passing along what Jason Wittenberg said to me. Jason interviewed me back in '99, and I thought things went pretty well, and then he asked me, well, if we put you on the board, are you actually gonna show up? And I was just dumbfounded, you know, why would he ask that? Well, later on, I found out they were down to like 3 members, had horrible attendance problems, and some of the members, after the vote was taken, would continue the argument, going out in the hallway, and would call each other in the evenings and yell at each other. So I habitually started suggesting to people that there were 2 things you could get you booted off the board. This is new hires coming on. I said, 1, don't show up, and the other is lack of collegiality. And I think the collegiality aspect is something that allows business to get transacted in a fairly smooth and pleasant way. And because if that's the operating style, then everyone fits nicely into it, because it's normal to be collegial. It's normal to be friendly. It's normal to get along and respect other people. And it's more of a trained behavior, you know, to go yelling and screaming and carrying on. And well, Matt, you and I have been on a few other boards, not this one, where that was the operating method.
Absolutely.
And it was just like pulling nails to get anything done. Whereas here, it's pretty simple. And I lose all the time in terms of how I want the vote to come out. And I immediately forget about it and move on. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. Make your best argument, and then you're done.
Well, John, there's one other thing I'd like to say, and I don't know if staff wants to say anything. I think they do. But something else that you probably have picked up about John is he's been in the real estate industry in almost all aspects over his career. So when he gives his opinion on things, it's rooted in that experience that really, I don't think you can't fake it. It just isn't possible. So we're going to miss your voice as well.
Yeah. Well, in those regards, you know, whether it's something to do with the board or it's personal, the lines of communication, as far as I'm concerned, remain open. You know, if somebody wants to ask me a question about real estate or the board or anything, just pick up the phone. I'm old-fashioned, and I've got a weird name. I got a landline. I can be found.
Okay. Does staff want to say anything? Yes, Mr. Ellis.
Chair Perry, members of the board, board member Finlayson. I think based on the research we did, I mean, your service to the board has been the longest service of any board or commission in the city's history, as I understand it. So, I mean, that's impressive. And we do thank you for your service on that. It's going to be great. We're definitely going to miss you. You know, I'm only half joking when I ran into you in the hallway and was suggesting it would be great to have you come back for appeals of the decision of the zoning administrator. Because regardless of whether you upheld or did not uphold the decision of the zoning administrator, I think you were always had excellent comments in terms of getting to the heart of the matter and what that decision was. And it's been great. You know, it's been great to work with you, and we're really going to miss you. I mean, I think we've got some, you know, good people coming, but we can't replace you, so.
No.
Well, I'm sure they'll do fine. No one is irreplaceable.
True, but,
They're just not. I'm not. And that's all fine and good. And if I've left something behind that's of good quality occasionally, then I'm happy.
Absolutely.
I believe Ms. Souther would like to.
Good afternoon, Chair Perry, board members, John. My name is Shanna Sether. I'm a principal planner, and I've had the honor to serve with this board and staff this board not once but twice, starting back in 2005, and obviously your tenure extended way before that as well. I was always so grateful, John, for your pragmatic approach and very thoughtful questions that really help us to do our job even better and to convey what are very complex requirements and zoning code laws to the general public. And I always thought you did such a wonderful job. You were always very reliable, and we always knew you were going to be here and bring 100% or 110%. So always appreciated you as a staff member, and I wish you all the best. Thanks so much for your service.
Well, it's a pleasure to see you again, and I look back upon your tenure here with pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else want to say anything or have any comments? Okay. So with that, I think we've gone through old business and new business, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
He said self-servingly.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Cool.
I mean, you get to play in the mud and get paid for it. I would love anybody and everybody to apply for this career.